whatever they're going to do, they're going to have to give up a lot for Soto if they're willing to do it. It's going to be a lot. I would like whatever it is they give up. I would like knowing that Soto's going to be here beyond 2024. That's all. Now, a lot of the fanboys, including some friends of mine, there is no price that's too big for them to rent Soto for 2 years and 3 months. Seriously, if they ask for Goldschmidt, if they ask for Miles Michaelis, if they ask for O'Neill, Carlson, Walker, Wynn, Graceffo, who else? It doesn't matter. Whatever the Nationals ask for, the really just totally freaking out fanboys would give up whatever the Nationals ask. Anything at all, right? And so there's no limits to their insanity about this, and I think it's really funny. But I do believe there are limits to the Cardinals' sanity. I just don't know how far the Cardinals are going to go. I don't know how aggressive they're going to push. I don't know just what they're willing to give up. They wouldn't be at the table talking. The owner wouldn't be in D.C. unless they were ready to throw down. I don't think they'd waste their own time or anyone else's time. And I do know, before you send your text messages in, I'm well aware the Cardinals have this history of finishing second in trade discussions or free agent discussions. I'm aware of that. So they don't always bring their best offer. They have not with Arenado, and certainly they were accurate with Goldie as far as knowing exactly what it would take to pull those trades off because they had inside information because of Bill DeWitt's relationships with the other owners. But, they do, however, there's been a long line of things where they come in second. They had a chance to sign the younger Gurriel, who plays for Toronto, who's a hell of a player. And, talking to people involved in that at the time off the record, it was like, we're making a big offer. We really like our chances, blah, 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 blah. They finished second. Toronto outbid them. Luis Robert, Chicago White Sox. Well, look, we really think he's special. We're really trying to get this done. We got a chance. No, they didn't offer anything close to what the White Sox did. So the Cardinals' version of going all in, even now, their version of going all in is a lot different than, say, A.J. Preller's version of going all in. Like A.J. Preller will make 7,000 trades. He'll give up anybody. And everyone gets excited and says, man, this guy's something else. He goes all in. This guy, man, he's aggressive. I like that. What have they ever won? Am I allowed to ask that? Have they won anything of any magnitude? I think the answer would be no. But no, when an A.J. Preller goes all in, he goes all in. When the Dodgers go all in, they go all in. The Cardinals think they're going all in, but most of the time it's not really close to what the winning bid is. So I don't know what their version of all in is this time. Is this the time where Bill DeWitt goes crazy? And I say crazy not as a pejorative. Is this the time he goes crazy? Where he says yes to things that, say, 3-4 years ago he never would have said yes to? That's what fascinates me about this. And Ken Rosenthal reporting last night and again today, the Cardinals are not only in on Soto, but they're in on Frankie Montas as well. And I trust Rosenthal. So my question is, and then I'll shut up. Jim, you got to talk, or my voice is going to give way.
Sure.
I do trust Ken Rosenthal a lot. And to me, it sets up a question. And I wrote a little piece for scoopsofdannymac.com about this. It's like we're counting down the hours to the trade deadline. Are the Cardinals going to get Soto or starting pitching? Or is it possible they would get both? That would surprise me. When I say both, I mean a coveted starting pitcher, not just kind of let's get this Chad. Let's go get Chad Cool. I'm not, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm talking about someone that other teams are really, really interested in.
Right.
So is it Soto? Can they get Soto? Yes or no? Can they get Soto and Frankie Montas? Yes or no? Couldn't they get both? That's the most intriguing aspect of this, the possibility at least that they could get both. So anyway, Jim, what do you think? I've been running my mouth. What do you think?
One, the intrigue with Bill DeWitt there is super high now. It really is. And to your point, it's kind of stating what you did, but it's also, if he's there, that means there's dollars, there's commitments that have to be discussed and have to be cleared by him. That's the significance of that. That was exciting to see. They may do nothing. You mentioned A.J. Preller. It reminded me, they haven't won anything. They also finished second last year in the Scherzer sweepstakes. It was, he was done. He's going to San.
It was done.
Oh, he's going to San Diego. Oh, wait, he's going to L.A. with trade. They missed out. Everybody can miss out. I will be super intrigued just to see at some point what they're going to have to acquire some kind of pitching. 100%. Where do they go? I really am interested. Will it be two? Because if you're asking me, Bernie, for the weekend, I think and it can go into Tuesday, but I'm just talking about the entire situation. I think they need two. They need two guys. Yeah. If they can get me a really good one, and a name I've been kicking around over the last 2 days, especially last night. He's in the division, but I wouldn't mind going after Jose Quintana right now with the Pirates.
Yeah, they could probably. That's one they could pull off because I don't think the Pirates would hesitate to
I think
make a trade.
He's been pretty good lately, and I think he would be a good fit here as, again, the J-Happ type guy that will help round out the full rotation. Not the guy to be the number 3, but to be an extra guy within this group because Matz and all the other guys you don't know anything about. But I think he would be a welcomed addition.
Yeah, he's pitching well this year.
Mm-hmm.
Had to really bounce back nicely.
And then as far as the craziness, we're going to hear every possible combination of players. I just want to see when it's all said and done, and I think he will be. I want to see if Jordan Walker's still here.
Yeah, I want to see if there's a lot of people that I wonder about.
Because let's just say, because he's there, let's just say and this is all hypothetical, but that's what we're talking about right now. If a Soto trade goes through and Bill DeWitt is there and they okay it and they find a way to get an extension for how many years it is, I got to imagine Jordan Walker's got to be part of that. If there's an extension that is able to be worked out ahead of time. Again, not saying that it is, but we're looking at all hypotheticals. Will he still be here? I
just don't know.
Yeah, but
if there's you asked the question, get an extension, find a way to get an extension. The way you do that, it's pretty simple. It's very costly, but it's pretty simple. You say to Scott Boras, well, what would you like? What's this going to take? Name a price. Okay, we'll do it. That's it. That's the only way you can do that. Otherwise, he's going to the free agent market. Seriously, you got whatever number he's got, and that's what some of the fanboys they won't accept it because they're really in this Christmas morning, Easter morning frame of mind because they're just so aroused about this. So it's like you can't even remind them who the agent is. And his history and his strong preference and his client's strong preference. If he's got a great client, they want to go to the free agent market. Because I said it yesterday, it's another thing people aren't talking about. They're thinking in terms of today. All right, if he turned down $440 million, and let's just say, as I said yesterday, let's just say right now the target price would be a $500 million deal, maybe even $550. All right. Why sign that now when what would that number be after the 2024 season? It's going to go up.
Mm-hmm.
It ain't coming down. So anyway, a little roundup of some notes on this, and then we'll take a break and talk about the lineup. And there's some news and notes with the Cardinals in D.C. too. The game tonight, I think it's 6:05 St. Louis time. Bally Sports Midwest. Miles Michaelis against Anibal Sanchez. I didn't even realize he was still with the Nationals. He pitched in the wasn't it Michaelis versus Sanchez? Didn't they match up in the NLCS in 2009?
Yes.
That's pretty funny, man. Pretty funny. But anyway, with regards to Soto, I'm just giving you a smattering of opinions out there from, again, not from fake Twitter accounts. Bob Nightingale, our friend from USA Today, he says the Juan Soto Final Four in terms of aggressive offers entering the weekend. Number 1, San Diego. Number 2, Seattle. Number 3, St. Louis. Number 4, the Dodgers. Okay, if they're in the Final Four, it's up to Big Bill to close the deal, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Jeff Passan says, ESPN, 80% chance Soto's traded by the deadline. Passan also offered his opinion that Soto's going to wind up with the Padres or the Dodgers. That's just his opinion.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
He's not saying that he will. He's not saying that's where it's going for sure. He's saying it's just his opinion after talking to people. I mentioned this earlier. Rosendahl of Fox Sports and The Athletic said the Cardinals are in on Soto, but they're also in on Frankie Montas. We know who that is. Our friend Barry Sergula from the Washington Post, their lead sports columnist. There was rumors being circulated by a fella named I don't know if it's Hubert Gomez. I know his last name's Gomez. He actually he's involved in some of the Hispanic television coverage of Major League Baseball, but I don't know how well connected he is. He got people all dizzy because he put something on Twitter along the lines of like the Nationals are going to make another offer to Soto, like a final offer to Soto. But Barry Sergula of the Washington Post shot that down. He said, quote, "My understanding is that the Nationals are not making a new offer to Soto. If they get the right deal, they'll make it. If they don't, they won't." John Heyman of MLB Network and New York Post, he's got the Cardinals, Padres, Dodgers, and Rangers at the forefront of the trade talks. In between, my guy Heyman also lecturing the Yankees and the Mets to get involved because they're not involved at this time. He rates the Padres as the number one likely team to pull it off. And he cites Mackenzie Gore, and that's interesting because he's got an elbow problem, and I would think that would scare some people away. But anyway, they do have a lot of good young players, and A.J. Preller will pretty much trade anybody so they can finish third again or whatever.
Yeah, you're right.
I mean, he's like a little kid. It's just like, he can't let anything rest, It's like he made a trade. I got to make 5 more trades now. And it's just like, dude, sometimes you got to let, you got something in the oven, man. You got to go low and slow with it a little bit,
Yeah.
You can't be pulling it out of you can't be pulling it off the smoker all the time. Poking around with it and doing all this other stuff with the seasoning and the rub and meanwhile it's not cooking because you're fooling around. It's not smoking. It's not getting done. You're not getting your internal temperature where you want, and you get frustrated. And then you're like, the hell with this. I'll put ribs on instead. He just, dude.
You're right about that.
Calm down, right?
I'll tell you one thing about the Padres talk of them being interested in him. Every little, possible trade scenario, it's a bunch of young kids. And I just remember this being a super strong narrative in the off season and at the end of last year was they cannot add any more payroll until they get rid of Hosmer's contract. That has not been part of this scenario at all. It was
no, I don't know what they're doing.
So that's why I'm kind of going, okay, if are they really that strong, or are we just trying to find things? And I'm not saying bad things about anybody's reporting. It's just how all of a sudden, we're not worried about that now. Wait a minute. That's all I heard. Well, we can get these guys, but we got to move Hosmer's contract. We're at our limit right now.
Here, let me give you a little secret about Preller. He's everybody's source, and that's why because he loves attention. He loves having kind of a stable of national writers that are going to like write about him. Oh, he's a dynamic general manager. He's fearless, all that.
Yeah.
They write and talk about all that stuff, and so he's like their source. So that's why any player, like, I'm surprised there wasn't a story today that A.J. Preller and the Padres, it is believed that they're in on the Edmundo Sosa deal. It doesn't matter who's being traded. Someone is one of his sources. Well, he's the source, but one of the people that use him as a source to stay on his good side or whatever, they'll literally put his name and that team in every trade rumor there is.
Makes sense.
So that answers your question.
Okay.
Number two, so he's got the Padres, number one. This is John Heyman of New York Post. Number two, he's got the Cardinals. I'll just read you this. It's only one paragraph. Rival execs believe Nats general manager Mike Rizzo likes their stash of young players, especially the position players, including Dylan Carlson and Harrison Bader and Jordan Walker and Nolan Gorman and Mason Wynn. And then one rival executive says the Cardinals are the safest bet in terms of floor. So I don't have any doubt that Rizzo likes those players. I don't think he would ask for all those players. And I think they're going to need a center fielder. Look, if the Cardinals can move Bader, they should move Bader. But I doubt that Bader's a hot trade candidate because he's hurt.
Right.
He's going to be in a walking boot for another month. So I would, and I'm not knocking John Heyman. He was unaware of the update on Bader.
Right.
So he's got the Dodgers third. He says they're the major player for All-Stars. And as Joel Sherman pointed out, they've acquired Manny Machado, Yu Darvish, Justin Turner, and Max Scherzer at the deadline. Or Trey Turner, I meant to say. Mm-hmm. And Dodgers president Stan Kasten is an ex-Nationals team president who ran the franchise. And the teams made that big Scherzer-Trey Turner deal last deadline. So that makes sense because the Dodgers are always in it if they want to be. Heyman, I won't read anymore other than to say he's got the Rangers in there, ranking them fourth, the Mariners fifth, Yankees, Giants, Rays, Mets. Now, our friend Jim Bowden at The Athletic, this will be the last one I read for now, and we'll take a break after that. So here is he mentions teams that are in it, and then he puts together what he believes would be a probable trade package or what it would look like or what it would take to pull it off or what, Mm-hmm. But he thinks he's being realistic here with this. So he has Soto for Nolan Gorman, Dylan Carlson, Mason Wynn, and Gordon Graceffo. I think the Cardinals love Dylan Carlson, and I'd be surprised. Then again, Mike Rizzo has made it clear that this isn't just about prospects. He wants a young major leaguer with plenty of contract control that can play at a relatively cheap price for the Nationals for several years. That is Dylan Carlson. There's no doubt about it. I have no doubt that he would want Dylan Carlson. I mean, would it come down to Bill DeWitt's got a choice to make? He gives up either Dylan Carlson or, say, Jordan Walker? I don't know. That seems like an awful lot for 2 years and two and a half months of Juan Soto. And I know the fanboys would be disappointed in that because they would trade the entire franchise for Soto. And you'd say, well, what would the team be around him? It's just like I was joking yesterday. They're like those guys, the Ditka guys on Saturday Night Live in the old days. Who'd win this? Who's going to win the Stanley Cup? Who would you take? Is it Penguins or Ditka? Ditka.
Ditka.
So yeah, the fanboys, well, they actually think Soto can win every game by himself. So it's fascinating. Even though the Nationals, since winning the World Series, have the third worst record in baseball, it's not his fault, obviously, but he's not the miracle man,
Right.
Because I hear the fanboys is just like, well, look, you can't worry about pitching if you have a chance to get Soto. You cannot worry about pitching. Who cares about pitching if you can't get if you can get Soto? To hell with pitching. Yeah. And that's kind of why the Washington Nationals are the third worst team in baseball since the start of 2020. What is it about people that don't understand this is a team game?
It is quite perplexing to listen to others. Oh, you got to get him. Well, again, you're not going to win the series with just Juan Soto with this group, period.
All right, Jim Bowden went on to say, the Nationals must start the trade discussions with St. Louis by demanding Jordan Walker is the headliner. But for the Cardinals, he's the one prospect they can't move. They can't give up 6 years of Major League control of Walker, who is a future superstar, for possibly just 2 years and 2 months of Soto. To that, the fanboys have said, and they will say, come on, man. Jordan Walker's the next Lewis Brinson. Oh, come on, man. He's the next Cameron Maybin. Come on, man. He ain't that good.
Cameron Maybin. There we go.
Yeah. He was involved in the
Mickey trade, wasn't he?
Yeah, the Mickey trade. Yeah. That's why I brought him up.
I like it.
He's been okay, but never the superstar everybody thought.
No.
All right. Then Jim Bowden continues. However, that doesn't mean the Cardinals, even if they keep Walker, it doesn't mean they can't put together a package without Walker that's basically as good as any other teams. They can. I would agree with that. The Cardinals would start this proposal with Nolan Gorman, who's blocked at third base by Nolan Arenado. Jimmy's playing second.
Yes, he is.
And he said, Gorman, who has a legitimate 30 to 40 home run power, would immediately be the Nationals' everyday third baseman. Well, that's probably true. The Nationals should also be able to pry away Carlson, who has slashed. Well, he gives his stats. Never mind.
Mm-hmm.
Talks about his stats, and he's only 23 years old. He's 2 years away from the start of his prime. And he's mentioned as actually, people aren't mentioning how cheap of an addition he would be, given his quality and his value. He doesn't become a free agent until 2027. That's a big, big part of his appeal. But that's what some people don't understand. That's also a big, big part of the appeal to the Cardinals and Bill DeWitt.
Yes.
23 years old, can't become a free agent until 2027. Getting better and better and better. Can play center field, which enhances his value. The Cardinals want that guy, So I don't know if they would give him up. And if they don't give him up, then maybe there's no chance. And then Bowden repeats his love for Mason Wynn, which I respect. He's one of the more underrated shortstop prospects in the game. He could be a long-term solution at shortstop. And then the final piece, Bowden says, is Graceffo, a righty starter whom the Cardinals drafted 5th round last year out of Villanova. He's got a 2.33 ERA and 18 starts. Profiles as a middle-of-the-rotation starter. He said, but if the Cardinals really want Soto, they got to find a way to put Walker in the trade, and then they could move up to the top of the list. What do you think?
Well, I like.
You're laughing. I like it.
Yes, some of it is comic relief for me, I will say. Others, the one thing look, it's national writers trying to put together ideas.
No, and Jim actually did a fun job with this.
Yes.
I tease him, but it's a fun read. It really is.
It is. But the one thing I'll say is, when I see national writers trying to come up with the Cardinal ideas, they kind of portray the Cardinals thinking like they're the Yankees or Dodgers. Like, yeah, we'll just start throwing these guys around. That's not what the Cardinals do, though.
No, they really
like
don't.
You said, the Carlson thing. Yeah, that's a kind of thing. The Yankees go, yeah, this is a young kid. We'll move him. Sure, bring him in. We'll bring in the superstar and pay him whatever you want. That's not how the Cardinals do it, though. So, as much as I enjoy the levity of the situation with some of these proposals, it's like, though that's not how the Cardinals think of their young players and how they treat them, how they value them. I guess is a better way of putting it. They just don't just throw those guys around and go, yeah, we'll send this, this, and this. And I'll take in that big guy, that star, and with that money that is necessary to keep him around. Yeah, we're not worried about that. We'll pay. That's not how the Cardinals go about their business. So, it's going to be a fun.
It's fun.
Watch.
It's fun. And I'm trying to balance, some serious perspective on this, pragmatism, but also, you know, the little bit of a fanboy that's in me, yeah, it's kind of fun to think about him playing for the Cardinals. But I just can't just sort of slobber and, you know, say, well, if I was sitting in that chair, I'd give them anything they wanted. You know, I mean, come on, calm down. I mean, the guy's got a 2.4 WAR this year. Dylan Carlson, his updated WAR is 2.2. They're basically having the same season. One guy's making $17.3 million. The other guy's making $730,000.